Hello everyone, welcome to this recap of round 2 from the Bilbao Masters. I'm GM Lars Bo Hansen, Don Corleone here at ICC, and it was really a great pleasure to follow this round. A lot of fighting chess, although we only had one decisive game, world champion Magnus Carlsen outlasting the young Chinese prodigy Wei Yi in a long game. Certainly we had a lot of interesting chess, and it was interesting to see how Magnus Carlsen would bounce back after losing as white against Hikaru Nakamura yesterday in round 1, which was the first time that Nakamura had beaten Carlsen in a classical game. But Carlsen is known to be very strong at rebounding from a loss, and he also did so today, although not without some hiccups here. But let's look at this game, Wei Yi against Magnus Carlsen. And already early on, we have some interesting opening choices here. First, Wei Yi opens with 1 d4, which he typically does not do very often. He usually plays 1 e4. But Carlsen then in reply goes for the modern defense, popularized by the Swedish Grandmaster Tiger Hillar Persson, who has written a really excellent book on this system. But it's certainly not the most common system in reply to these 4d4 openings, but it does take the game into new ground that's not so well developed theoretically as some of the main lines. One of the main points from Black's perspective is that he leaves the knight on g8 for the time being, rather than going knight f6, which would be the Piet's defense. Instead he plays in a hyper-modern style with pieces attacking the central pawns from afar, hoping to prove that those pawns might be overextended in the end. Certainly this shows that Carlsen was out to try to win this game, revenging his loss from yesterday. And certainly Wei Yi made this a really good game by not holding back, but really going all out, trying to punish Black's system here by choosing the sharpest approach that White can choose in the modern defense, d4, e4, f4, and then advancing in the center with e5. But it turns out we are still in opening theory from Tiger Hillar Persson's book, where Black's idea, of course, is to lure White's pawns forward and then to undermine them, now with c5 and d6. Additionally, Black hopes to get some good squares for his pieces. For example, the point of keeping this knight on g8 is that this knight will then go to h6 and f5 in turn actually winning a tempo on the loose bishop on e3. So already after 8 moves we have a very sharp position. The knight goes to h6 and d takes e5. It was clear from the time consumption that Wei Yi was not so familiar with this opening, but he does follow the recommended line by Tiger Hillar Persson in this book that I referenced. Carlsen clearly was more aware of the theory of this line. He was the one who chose it after all. And this time difference actually did play a role later in the game. But Wei Yi does not hold back, and he does play the best with d takes c5, forcing a sharp situation in the center. He could have played something like c3, trying to maintain his center. But then Black will play something like knight f5, probably h5 to solidify the knight here. And then Black will try to take advantage of the light squares in the center here. And although he has a little less space, Black should be doing okay in this position.